Here are the differentiation rules for polynomials and for exponential functions. And the differentiation rules are basically a shortcut of this formula right here. A lot of things follow a particular pattern when they are differentiated. And once that pattern is figured out, then I can just use it as a shortcut, so I don't have to plug in things into this formula every single time. If I know what pattern it follows, I can just use that formula and it will give me the derivative. So for my first differentiation rule, if I have a constant, that derivative will be 0. Constants have no effect on the rate of change because they're constant. For polynomials or x to a power, the power gets brought down and is multiplied by 1 less the previous power. So that is the pattern that follows. And here are a couple other simple rules. If I have a constant times a function, the constant can be dragged out in front of the derivative, and then I take the derivative of the function, of the base function. So if I had 2x squared, I can drag the 2 out, and then I take my derivative of the x squared. And I have here the sum rule. If I have two different derivatives, or if I have a if I have the derivative of two separate functions, it's the same as taking the derivative of the individual components and then adding them together. Same with the difference rule. I take the derivative of the individual components and then subtract them afterwards. And the only really two, I guess, more interesting ones here, at least from the perspective of putting it into this formula here, are the exponential functions. And I'm not really going to talk about it here, just because if I forgot this stuff, I don't want to waste my time if I'm not interested in it. But but the derivative of e to the x is e to the x itself, and the derivative of an exponential function is the exponential function itself times the natural log of a. And I'll do a separate piece on what exactly is going on there, because it is interesting to see why it turns out the way it does. And also it really helps to, well, really, the number e is actually defined when looking at this. Never mind, I'll just go into it in something else. But here are just some simple rules to follow. They really help save a lot of time, and that's all they're really used for, really.